You scallywag. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the House of Mario, the South Australian Nintendo podcast that is backed by a 120 Power Star rating. I'm your host, Drew Agnew, and the doors to episode 175 are open. This week on the show, we're talking about Bryce's Pokemon history for the 25th anniversary of the Pokemans. And there's a really nice looking Monster Hunter Switch that was announced. Looks very nice. And it has us salivating at the mouth. Oh, you can audibly hear Bryce salivating. And yeah, joining me is Bryce DeWitt. It's good to have him back.
You said Bryce enough in the intro, you never thought I'd be on the show.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, who is it? Who's joined him? Oh, it's him again.
Oh, God damn it.
It's Bryce Shiny Charizard V DeWitt.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. It's going to stick forever now. I have to wear it like a badge.
Hey, that's not a bad thing to have, man. It's better than what the kids called me at school. They called me awful things. No, not really.
No.
No.
You had a pretty casual school life.
Yeah, you know, you got some bullies that, like, you know, got in there.
That Pokemon nerd.
Oh, you Pokemon nerd. It's like, well, what do you do at home? It's like, oh, I drive trucks and I play PlayStation 2 and I also play Pokemon. It's like, well, what are you talking about, mate? Jesus, you're just trying to bully me. Put yourself up on a pedestal. You know better than me, mate. And that's what I learned when I got older. But at the time, it really did dig in, Bryce.
Yeah.
It really did.
Kids are just weird, man.
Kids are weird.
They're
Yeah,
weird.
You've got two. They're weird, aren't they?
Yeah, they can be weird.
They can be
They
weird.
can be weird.
Yeah. Anyway, man, how's your week been? It's been it's good to see you again.
Yeah. No, it's all right, I suppose. Yeah, first week on the one job, which is, different.
Yeah, is it nice?
Yeah,
Bit more relaxing?
Yeah, to a degree. I don't have to stress so much about what I'm doing, later. So that's good. I get to go home and chill out, and still waiting back on my TAFE results, but that shouldn't be a problem anyway. No big deal.
You got to figure out whether you got 99%, 100%, or 110%.
Well, I don't even think I need that. I don't think the test that I had to do, I don't think it's actually... I don't think it involves any requirements of... Well, okay. Let's put it this way. That test is meant to sort of just figure out where you're at and whether you'll need assistance in learning. But some of the portions are required a pass for certain subjects. I don't think there's any parts in there that are required for IT, just because just flicking through those tests, I'm like, nothing here at all is relevant to what I'm doing in IT. So, yeah. It's just basic knowledge.
It's school all over again. Learning stuff which isn't 100% relevant.
Well, it wasn't even necessarily learning. It was just sort of testing on your already latent knowledge, I guess. But yeah, either way, I've got a seminar next week to attend. I'll do that. That's
Oh,
online.
a seminar, everyone. Oh, Bryce is attending a seminar.
No, that's online, so that's no big deal. Big old Zoom call or whatever. So I'll do that, and then after that,
You have your suit, your seminar, your TAFE seminar.
No.
No.
I'll probably put the camera on of yours that's still at my house and point it at my face, and as far as I'm concerned, I could be in my birthday suit, and then it wouldn't matter, would it?
Oh, it might matter if you're in your birthday suit.
Well, if I've got it pointed at my head, I'm sure we'll be fine. So I've just got to make sure I don't knock it over and go, whoopsie!
It's like, mate, I don't see a collar around your neck. Are you wearing no shirt?
Maybe I'm just a big fan of no shoulder shirts.
No shoulder shirts.
Could be. Who knows?
So, Bryce, we're finally in February. The celebrations for Pokemon 25 have started, and just in general for with the Pokemon Company, but here at the House of Mario as well. And I don't know how much we've talked about it before, but we are going pretty hardcore for the celebrations for the Pokemon's 25th year anniversary, especially over on the House of Mario Encore feed. So the House of Mario Encore, it's our second podcast where we post more evergreen content, whether it's discussions with us two or solo podcasts or anything like that. That's where all that lives. So we're going to be going hard with that over the next few months. We're going to have 3 episodes a week, Bryce.
Yes.
So,
It's a lot of episodes.
That's a lot of episodes. But the thing is, if you don't like Pokemon, you can ignore it. You've still got the main show over here where we talk about all the new stuff.
Yeah.
Because there's so much new Nintendo stuff going on at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
I was a little bit sarcastic about that, but with Mario 3D World and stuff coming out, we'll have that to talk about again.
Yes.
6 years later, on the Switch.
Hooray! I'll play through Bowser's Fury and then probably forget about it.
Yeah. And that looks pretty cool too. The previews have sort of come out for that. The embargoes have dropped, and I see like Vooks and a few other places have posted sort of impressions of it. And apparently, our sort of inkling was right. It is going to be like a 6-hour type of ordeal to get through. So kind of what we expected.
Yep. 3 to 6, I think they said.
Yeah. So that's okay. That's okay.
Depending on how good you are at Mario, I suppose.
Yeah, like it would probably take you one because you are.
I'm so pristine.
You're a hardcore gamer.
Yeah, big speedrunner man.
Yeah.
Haha. I'm not really.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so anyway, I've got it written here just so I don't miss any points here, people. But basically, each week on the House of Mario Encore, we're going to be having different types of episodes on different days. So on Mondays, I'm going to be going through like each region, listening to all the iconic music throughout the region and sort of putting my own experiences of my first time playing the games and whether it's with friends or all that. So looking forward to doing that. Obviously, the first episode will be going through Kanto, Red, Blue, and Yellow, listening to the music from that, going through, look forward to that, and eventually getting to the Galar region, in Pokemon Sword and Shield. On Wednesday, it's going to be just tackling a Pokemon topic. So the first one's just going to be me discussing my top 25 favorite Pokemon. And on Fridays, we're going to have a different guest on each week just to talk about their Pokemon experiences, their memories, nostalgia, things I love about it. Even, we can't help it sometimes. We're human beings. We're a bit negative sometimes, and sometimes we might bring up some criticisms we have of the Pokemon series. But at the end of the day, if we're recording a podcast about the Pokemons and Nintendo or whatever, we generally love it. It comes from a very warm place in our hearts.
Yeah. Just because you're speaking negatively about something doesn't mean you hate it.
No, I find usually it means I really like it.
That's right.
I just want more for it.
That's right. Yeah, you want to see it succeed.
Yeah, that's why my mother is so disappointed in me all the time. She just wants better, you know.
Oh God. But no, the thing is though, is like that gets misinterpreted a lot. I feel, especially with things like Pokemon and all that. Like, if we've ever talked bad about something on the show when it's regarding Pokemon, it's generally because we want better for it, not half-assed.
We're just like, we're not here just been like, this sucks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We're not quite that negative-minded necessarily. But anyway, if you're interested in that, go and subscribe to the House of Mario Encore. There's a link to iTunes, Spotify, all that in the show notes. Go and check it out.
Yes.
It's also available as a video on my YouTube channel, iDrooby. Go and check all that out.
iDrobbles.
I don't know who has the tag iDrobble, but it's not me. Maybe I should. Maybe I should change it.
Maybe you should just trademark yourself.
Yeah.
And all variations. iDrobbles, iDribbles, iDrews.
iDrews. Yeah, and we have to trademark all the House of as well. The House of fried rice, the House of
Lentils.
Yeah, all the lentil.
Yeah, good old lentils.
Nah, I've got nothing against lentils. Who does? Who does?
Yeah.
And the last thing I just want to put in the housekeeping as well is if you are a big Pokemon fan like myself, Bryce, people in our Discord, I would highly recommend jumping into the Discord, and there's even an invite there if you would like to jump on the podcast to talk about Pokemon with me. I'm going to be doing a few community episodes with some of our big Pokemon fans in the community as well. So really looking forward to that. That is, we've done it in the past for episode 150 and 100 as well, having people that are in our community. So that's super special to me, having people on. So really looking forward to doing that in the coming weeks and a couple of months.
Yeah.
So Bryce, what was you going to say, sorry?
It'd be fun.
It will be fun. God, it will be so much fun. You'll be beside yourself with fun. So I'm going to date this episode a bit, Bryce, but it is a Saturday night.
Yep,
we don't usually record on the Saturday night.
No, we don't.
Let's crack a drink. We've got a Canadian Club here. Delicious.
Aha!
These got left over in my fridge. What was that?
Your pee-hone.
Oh, that was my phone falling on the floor. Lucky I installed carpet in this room. Otherwise, it would have made a louder sound.
Bang.
Anyway, I really need a drink. I'm getting a bit parched here. Wonderful.
Canadian Club.
Just wonderful.
Delicious.
So, Bryce, you've been a fan of the Pokemon series for multiple years, spanning from when you were a little boy. So, what I've been asking people on Encore is like, basically, I ask people their age, so it's like sort of get an idea of like when they were born and like what their first type of Pokemon game might have been and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, how old are you, and what was your first Pokemon experience, whether it's the anime, video games, etc., etc.?
27, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah. You
Damn.
are.
Yeah,
I'm 26. You're a year older.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I'm 28 this year, and I have to think about these things. All right, this is what happens when you have children.
Yeah. See, I'm at the point now where I'm like 26. I'm not at the point where I'm like, oh, I'm 20. I'm 26, aren't I? I'm not quite there. I've got
It's
it.
because you haven't had children.
Yeah, true.
When you have children, that changes because you think about them and you're like, you know, it's, for example, it's like, oh, it's Evie's 6th birthday this year. I'm like, wait, so that makes me what? When did I have my children? Yeah. Anyway, it adds a whole nother layer. But yes, 27.
27. Okay, we got there, everyone. 27.
27.
And what was your first Pokemon experience?
The anime.
Yes.
I think that is the case.
Have a drink, my friend. You need to.
Yeah, I'm parched. That was a lot of talking. I think that was the first experience for most of the people within our friendship group. It wasn't necessarily the game straight up. Obviously the anime was a massive time for all of us, I think, especially since we were all into our morning/afternoon cartoons and sort of everything attached to it. But Pokemon was probably the one thing, except maybe Dragon Ball Z was the other, that really stood out. And being that age and stuff like that, you know, I was quite young and we had paid-air TV, so I knew that the Pokemon movie was coming out and stuff like that by the time I'd been into it for a little bit.
So you're lucky, like paid-to-air TV for like a kid with like obviously Cartoon Network with Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, all that stuff. That would have been an absolute dream.
Oh, yeah. But the problem with catching that every day as well is that a lot of those shows aired around the same time as they did on casual TV. Unless you had like a Toonami or something like that on Cartoon Network, you get your Dragon Ball Z at late night and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I guess looking at it from the perspective is I followed the anime from that point, and you know, then we had like the Scholastic book fairs and all that stuff where you had those little novelizations or what have you.
I completely forgot about them. I used to read them all the time.
Yeah. So you know, there was them as well, and the first thing that I ever saved up and bought was the Pokemon first movie.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, that was a bit of a little experience. I still remember that I thought I was the richest kid in the world because I had $20 for this Pokemon movie. I thought it was.
I can't remember if I bought mine. I was like 4 at the time. Surely I didn't have $20.
Yeah, well,
I don't know where I would have got that from.
I was 5 and I did jobs around the house and earned it, and like it was a cathartic little experience of like, oh look, I earned this sort of thing. So that was cool. It wasn't until I think even after that I first got into a Pokemon game, and that was on a Pocket, and I borrowed Red.
Yep. So you borrowed it off of a friend. That's how you got your hands on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and I played through it. It's a bit weird seeing the sprites as they were back then, you know, in comparison to looking at them in the anime and being like, oh, this is like drastically different. Why is Blastoise like the size of 2 sumo wrestlers stuck together with glue? And why does Charizard's face when it's on your party look like it's, I don't know, gone through and seen some shit?
Yeah. That was always so wacky for me. Like, obviously there's only like the certain amount of party sprites. Whereas like, you know, Pidgey and all the birds have the exact same bird sprite and like so on. Always thought that was just weird.
Yeah.
Just a limitation with the Game Boy and how much memory you can have on it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was very strange. But like regardless, you know, that was the first time I played, and I didn't really get ultra stuck into the games until Gold, Silver, Crystal. And Crystal was my favorite game for the longest time.
How'd you get your hands on that? Did you buy that?
No,
present?
same thing.
Buy
I
that
never
game?
actually owned a Pokemon game until
Emerald, wasn't it?
Pokemon Stadium.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Emerald, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I I mean, I'd played plenty of Pokemon through many sources, but we were a very money tight family, so a lot of my experiences were borrowed.
Yeah.
From other people at the time and people who had gone through it or gotten sick of it or just they sort of moved on, and Red was my first experience, then followed by I think it was Silver, and then Crystal, and Crystal ended up being like the mainstay best Pokemon game for me up until Black 2 White 2. So a lot of my early memories of Pokemon, and a lot of my best memories of Pokemon are back then when all those things were exciting, and when the red Gyarados was a thing. Like I had no idea at the time that all other Pokemon could be a different color, so I thought it was just like a unique thing to Gyarados, and I thought that was super awesome. But then moving on into the future, I realized it's like, oh, other Pokemon can be shiny.
Because you got to be extremely lucky to actually run into another one as well.
Yeah, and especially back in those days where it was like, Jesus, the odds were like 12,000 to 1, something like that.
It was 8,000 something.
Was it? I feel like it was more back in those days, but
it very well could have been. I'm not quite.
But the other thing as well was transferring Pokemon from Red, Yellow, and Blue to Gold, Silver, and Crystal could be shiny, and you wouldn't even know it because they never existed back in those games. The only way you could actually tell was based on, at least in recent times, I think it was also the same back in the day, but the only way you could tell if a Pokemon was shiny upon pre-transferring it from Red, Blue, and Yellow to Gold, Silver, Crystal was based on their stats.
Yeah.
Which is really strange to think about. But yeah, so I played Crystal, 5 times, I think. Like throughout the course of my childhood at least. And played it a few more times in my adulthood.
Yeah. So was that at the actual time when it was like the relevant game, or was that a bit later?
Yeah. It wasn't until Gen 3 where it was sort of like I sort of phased out a little bit, but only because I did not have a Game Boy Advance at the time or whatever, and I had one bought for my birthday at some point, and I bought Emerald with my own money, and that was the first Pokemon game I ever purchased, I guess, with my own money. And what a good game to purchase, honestly. Easily one of the most well-rounded and covered games in the entire series, as we're both completely aware of.
Yeah. I mean, I'm biased because it was like my first region I went to. So
I think everybody can be biased, but like even thinking from a technological standpoint, like there was a really diverse end game, and they'd really worked on how the Pokemon scene could be competitive and stuff like that. Like there was a lot of meat to that game.
Yeah. Gen 3 brought a lot of improvements, just like graphically, like the Pokemon looked like they were meant to, and had natures and IVs and all of that stuff. What makes it a bit more complicated if you're looking for that type of depth in the battle system, and that just got improved the generations that went on. So
that's right. Yeah,
it really did like set I guess the next level of construction for the rest of the series.
Yeah, it did. And I mean, we all played Emerald pretty religiously for some time. We're always doing the Battle Frontier or what have you. Always checking for Mirage Island every day.
Yeah.
Never getting
anything. I
anything.
never got it.
And did it really matter in the end? It wasn't fuck all.
No, it's just like one of those things which is just
I would like to
so
see it
cool.
for the mysticism. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
should just hack it in one day. Like I've finally done it when I'm 28 years old or something. I did it.
I already have.
Have you?
Yeah, just to see it.
Yeah, I've never bothered.
Because the thing is like it's such a cool concept, but for it to even pop up, it's even worse than shiny rates, and you have to check it every day. Every day, like it was.
Yeah, well, if you don't check it every day, you might potentially miss it.
That's right.
Once in a lifetime, she's gone.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I don't know anybody that's actually found it and been on it without cheating. So
just you.
Just me. Yeah, but I cheated. Yeah. So, and then I suppose moving on down the line, Gen 4 was very weak for me. Like I played a lot of it still, but I think at that point, my love for Pokemon was a bit stagnant, and I stopped watching the anime quite some time before it.
So just, I guess, doubling down on that, why did you love around that sort of time period? Why did you feel a bit stagnant on the Pokemon series? Just playing other games?
Gen
Or
4.
that's it? Just weren't enjoying the games as much?
I was I was enjoying other things, but Gen 4 was also, and it still is, one of the weakest generations for me. I feel like, there's a lot of Pokemon to love in Gen 4, and I do love them, but I also think that they tried to focus way too hard on, I guess, how the world can impede you. Because it does. Like, Coronet is a maze, and then you've got stupid HDMs like Rock Climb and Defog that just, when you think about it, you're like, God damn it, why is this even a thing? And a lot of push seemed to be on Gen 1 Pokemon getting evolutions, and some Gen 2 Pokemon.
Yep.
Some Gen 2 Pokemon got some really good ones, for example, like Honchkrow, I guess. Some Gen 1 Pokemon, not entirely sure.
Yeah. Actually, I remember feeling pretty negatively towards a lot of like...
The Gen 1 redos, yeah.
Yeah, but I've come around on pretty much all of them, except for... Licky. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Licky is a bit of a sore spot for most people. I think it's just too weird. And I think like the design for the Gen 1 evolutions is so Gen 4.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Like, when you think of them going back and redoing these things 3 generations later, you kind of expect like a design consistency, but they just look and feel Gen 4 in general. I think that's kind of weird going from that. I would have just liked to have seen them in probably a bit more of a design concept and similarity to what it was in Gen 1. Whereas you look at them, you go, that was definitely Gen 4. And that was the same for all of those like Pokemon from the past that got evolutions. Then that includes Honchkrow, which again is a friggin' awesome solution for Murkrow, but it's still a bit weird. Togekiss.
Oh, I love Togekiss.
I love Togekiss too, but what a fucking Gen 4 design.
Like, I get it with like Rhyperior, like from
Rhyperior, Gen 4 design.
Yeah, like looks like I like Rhyperior quite a lot, but you can there's a lot going on design wise.
And yeah, you can tell it's a Gen 4 design, and like that's where it was sort of like, okay, I'm not sure I really enjoy these rehashes of these old Pokemon because I feel like they tried to translate them to, hey, this is a Gen 4 Pokemon, when it come from a Gen 1 Pokemon, and it was just sort of, they didn't keep the same design concept that they did for the original designs.
Yeah. And like I quite like the sort of method they've got now, which is just like the Alolan forms, the Galarian forms.
I prefer that.
Where they can just like completely change it, add evolutions, just really muck around with it. But
like Obstagoon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But if you're a big Zigzagoon fan or a Linoon fan, you can be like, you know what, they're still there, but there's just like this other version of it which has this wacky evolution and stuff as well.
But I mean, I don't have anything against it. Per se, like them introducing new evolutions later on, but I think they just need to stick to the design concept of the generation it came from, rather than trying to evolve it into a new generation where they're trying to work it around a similar design set there.
Yeah, I guess that's I haven't like brushed up on like what
Tangrowth.
I don't know what artists were like working on the Pokemon at the time. Yeah. If they were different artists or whatever. Obviously, if they're different artists, well,
I'm sure it was somebody's dream to do that. Like,
Oh yeah, could you imagine?
They achieved it, and it was like, oh my god, cathartic for them, and I'm happy for them and everything. But it's just something about that.
I bet like in saying that Gen 4 is that long ago now that those
it's
Pokemon
literally 4 generations ahead of that now.
Yeah, so they sort of seem like old Pokemon to me now. So they are kind of like, they do sort of work for me now.
I still see Gen 4. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's hard to explain in some context, but it does come back down to original design concept. But yeah, Platinum was also good, and it fixed a lot of general problems, I feel. The game itself still remained pretty trudgy. It was a really long Pokemon experience, but I'm not sure if it was really long because of how much content was actually in it, as opposed to how much was actually in your way, and you had to go off and do some other arbitrary little thing and then go back.
Bit of both.
I will say Team Galactic is probably like one of the most terrorist organizations on the planet, blowing up lakes. Like,
Yeah, literally.
yeah, like literally just blowing them up with bombs. And like, you know, realistically, they're a pretty fearful team. In fact, probably one of the more fearful teams out of all of them. They were literally resorting to terrorism.
Yeah, and they've got some pretty mucked up plans with the legendary Pokemon actually literally influencing space and time and stuff. That's a bit much.
Warping reality. Like, they were one of the most dangerous threats, and that made for like somewhat of an interesting story, especially in Platinum when you went to the distortion world and did all that, and that was cool. Yeah.
It was really cool. Yeah.
But Gen 5 was where it really picked back up all for me again, and it's sort of been on my mindset ever since, I guess, going into adulthood.
It is a shame, like, just sorry to interject here, but
do it, yeah.
like with Black and White, I just feel like it was still a DS game. They did just some tremendous stuff with it. Just like it pushed the DS to limits that it didn't think it could be pushed to, just with animated sprites and just like the 3D environments as like, you know, different angles and stuff as you're going through it. But I just feel like the hype wasn't as there because it was the second generation still on the DS.
Yeah.
Especially so close to the 3DS.
And I think everybody felt that.
Yeah, and like even myself, like, you know, it's like, yes, a new Pokemon game.
I did too.
They look cool, looking forward to it, but they're just, the hype wasn't quite there, and but it turns out that these were
some serious gems.
Yeah, serious gems, and I think it's the most effort and the most like, all right, let's kick some ass with these games Game Freak has been in the whole series. Just with how many Pokemon they introduced. They introduced 156 Pokemon in this game. So there's was it five more than the original games. Like, that just shows how many Pokemon they introduced in this, and not all of them are just like knocks out the park, but you know what, majority of them are.
Yeah.
And
things like Braviary, Crocodile, Lilligant, Leaveney, even some of the ones people hate, like Garboda's alright.
Yeah,
Zoroark. Yeah. Anyway,
Don't forget Chandelure. I love Chandelure.
Galvantula.
Oh my god. Yeah, you can just like
Klinklang. I like the Klinklang line too.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
No, I quite like Klinklang, and I think they did like give him a bit of a uniqueness as well with gear shift and all that, and like really made him, you know, something that was good for Gen 5. Dealing with the season changing Pokemon for those games was especially awesome. Yeah,
seasons never come back, did they?
No, it's sad because I was so good. Why did they never come back? Imagine Sword and Shield, but with seasons. How much better? How much better?
You got weather, but changes every day.
Yeah, that's not seasons. But yeah,
that's not seasons.
That's not seasons.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, so just like really, really great games. And what sort of captured you about them at the time? Like, what makes you say these are some of my favorite Pokemon games in the series?
I'll be honest. Black 2, White 2 were the ones that did it. I understand everybody's grievances with Black and White. They are definitely not, I guess, the most polished games in terms of end game and stuff like that as well. And they're not the best to go back and replay. Despite how much, like, you know, Team Plasma and all that were a relatively good enemy. N is undoubtedly one of the best rivals / villains, I guess, in the entire series. I think the whole theme that's sort of centered around like animal welfare and all that stuff is huge, and the corruption underneath that with Getsus and what he wants, you know. Personally, I think that's one of the best stories I've ever told, and it's followed up with Black 2 and White 2, which is arguably the best Pokemon story they've ever told in the games. Definitely. You know, with the opposing old Team Plasma, who are trying to make up for the wrongdoings that they've done, and they're followers of N, who has realized his mistakes and he's sort of going forward or whatever. But then you also have Neoplasma, and Neoplasma are still followers of Getsus, still believe in the main goal, and they want to, you know, wipe out the other side of Plasma, but also continue their original goal of ruling over Unova. And I think, you know, that was one of the most unique concepts that they had, outside of like Team Magma and Aqua, where it was a fight between two teams who already had different ideals. And, it was the sea versus the land, whereas these guys were all one group once. And when you talk to the NPCs in the game and stuff like that, you realize that, like, a lot of these people had friends and now they're in opposing groups fighting each other. And, they're often like, oh, I don't want it to be this way, but I don't believe what you believe in anymore. Yeah. And, sort of stuff like that. And that made for really such a quite intriguing story.
Yeah, for a region that's based on America.
Yeah.
It's very very timely in 2020, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is. But, just overall, like, that is awesome. And I think that's an awesome concept. Plus, you also had, like, a lot of returning characters through, I suppose, the mini-game concept of the Pokemon World Championship and stuff like that. And just facing all those trainers again and stuff like that was just a big old nostalgia trip. And, I like how for the third game, technically the third game, they reorganized the entire region. So you went through it differently the second time round and experienced a whole different way to do it, even with new towns and gym leaders to it.
It was excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like in interviews, Masuda basically said that like that Black and White 2 was a game aimed at Pokemon fans that are a bit older. That's why there's returning characters. That's why there's a bit more depth, and that's why there was a sort of a introduction to like an easy and a hard mode, which was introduced in a really dumb way. You had to basically have to finish the game, then give it to someone. It's like, just put it in there at the start, man.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
So I could never do the hard mode or whatever, which I really wanted to do. Like they made the gym leaders harder and all that type of stuff. So no, like and then like with X and Y, that went in the complete opposite direction where they were aiming for just like the mass market.
But unfortunately, with that as well, they also, with Pokemon as far as it's come, and like, yes, I do understand, people are still discovering Pokemon, younger people are still discovering Pokemon and stuff like that. But I don't think the experience is wasted when you sort of aim for that demographic in the middle ground, but they kind of just wanted to dial it back. And this is, something that we'd completely blown out of the water in a day. And we were like, okay, what next? Like, literally, we got through it in 23 hours. Most of it had stayed up all night. We had a party going for it, literally. And most of us had gotten to the end by the end of it. And you went and finished it with a Pikachu. And that's all you had on your team.
Yeah, did a second playthrough.
Apart from HM Slaves, you finished it with just a Pikachu. Like, there was some cool concept in it. Like, Mega Evolution was a cool concept, though unbalanced and outdated for the times, and definitely not competitive friendly.
To make it interesting,
See Mega Kangaskhan. A lot of cool concepts that were not executed correctly. There was barren. It was barren on endgame. There was no endgame. The third legendary, being Zygarde, did not even get any love until Generation 7.
He was just there, wasn't he?
He was just there.
Just went to a cave and there he is.
Oh, look, hey, it's Zygarde. What the hell is a Zygarde? And then it's like, cool, I guess we don't know about him. And then in Gen 7, they had a whole fucking fetch quest for him.
Yeah, they just chucked it in the next games,
That just shows you, like, how much that game actually ended up appealing for the major market, because it didn't. Which is a real big surprise that they managed to sort of move forward into Gen 7 with the same mindset of like, oh, we need to appeal for the younger crowd. But I don't know. Like, I'm lost with Sun and Moon. And this is, Sun and Moon is the reason I was so wary coming into Gen 8, I think.
Yeah, we were, weren't we?
I did not enjoy them as much as you didn't. You enjoyed them a far lot less than I did.
Yeah, it's like, because it took me 2 weeks to finish it. Usually it takes me like
a day or two.
Yeah, like at like longest a week of just like taking my time. But like 2 weeks, I just like didn't play it some days. I'm like, I can't be bothered. Can't be bothered. Yeah, it's just didn't grab me.
There was a lot of cool Pokemon designs and stuff like that, but the amount of hand holding in that game and actual time spent playing the game was so minimal that it was almost embarrassing. And that's, really concerning overall. I like the legendaries fine enough. The Tapus are alright, you know. The selection of Pokemon wasn't too bad. But it didn't really do anything. Nothing too special or unique. It did the gym challenges. Well, I suppose the whatever you want to call them, they were
The trials.
the trials.
Yeah.
They were fun.
Something different as well.
And
That was nice.
totem Pokemon being involved was a good way to make shift things up and keep them challenging and you know, stuff like that. And that was great. But it all culminated to the same thing in the end anyway. So why did it ever matter? You know, there was still a Pokemon League at the end. There was still 4 trainers to fight in that Pokemon League, and there was still a champion to fight.
Yeah, it was a cool story that like they were just building the Pokemon League. It was just becoming a thing.
In Alola.
So that was a cool story beat.
It was, but you know, it just felt so weird coming off of trials where they were so ingrained in like the culture of Alola and its denizens to basically turn it into a gym challenge at the end of it. Like I felt like they could have done something with the totem Pokemon at the end of it, and you know, something along the lines of that. The Aether Foundation as villains and Team Skull, I will say that Team Skull is one of the best villain sets they've ever made. Second only to Neoplasma, just saying.
What about Team Rocket?
Yeah, Team Rocket can
Blast off. Yeah.
blast off. I like Team Rocket for nostalgia purposes, but realistically they achieved absolutely nothing. And yeah. But you know, Team Skull was great for comedic purposes. I don't think anybody really hates Team Skull. I think they're great. I think it's awesome how they have a whole overrun town. I think that's great. I think that's a great story beat. And the Aether Foundation being evil in the end was a real cop-out. Lucamine being the person she is was kind of a... she's like, oh no, an Ultra Beast stole my husband. Meanwhile, you're spending the time on her husband's fucking island, like feeding your Pokemon beans and... like, whatever. It's just like...
Feeding them beans.
He was there the whole time. It's like, that's her husband. It's like... He's even got Lily and Gladian's fucking hair, dude. That's her husband. I'm feeding fucking Pokemon beans on his island. Lucamine, he's over here. He's on this island. And then it's just like, where's my husband? I need a jellyfish alien to save my husband. And yeah, and then it just kind of got weird. And then Nihilego having this entire team of half totem Pokemon, I guess, was like strange. And they never... And it had the worst ending. I could complain about that ending all day.
Don't do it all day, mate. Don't do it all day.
They really set themselves up for like and this is what kind of made me excited about it, is they really set themselves up for a Black 2, White 2 thing.
Oh, yeah.
Where they were like, Lily was like, I'm going to go off to the Kanto region and, you know, try and find a way to help cure Mum. And it's like, cool, good on you, Lily. All right. Good job. I actually don't mind you as a character, so that's cool. And I would like to see that happen. It never did. They just rehashed Sun and Moon and put Rainbow Rocket at the end and fucking Ultra Portals or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah. So I guess really that's why we'll so go into the Sword and Shield just like when like the National Dex stuff dropped. It was like, you know, we went through X and Y, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire were fine. But
they were fine.
They were okay, you know. Sun and Moon,
missing the most important feature they should have had.
And then like the year after, they just rehash it with a remix, and then to find out that, you know, they're cutting stuff from the games, like, oh my god, that's I think that's where the Pokemon community just sort of spat it, really, didn't they? Some people did it in ways that are not okay, but a lot of people were just like, you know, I've had enough. I want this series to improve.
It was doing so well in Generation 5. What the fuck happened?
They went 3D. Took longer to make assets and stuff. That's what happened.
Hire more people. I've said this on the podcast so many fucking times now. Just hire more people, guys. All right? Just do it. Just hire more people. You've got the money. You can make a Gen 5 game with 3D models and assets very, very easily if you just hired a few more people. You know? It would be so much better. But anyway, that aside, you know, like...
So where do you sit at the moment with Sword and Shield?
I'm good with Sword and Shield. You know what? Yeah, it sucks that we still can't obtain every Pokemon, and I managed to get all my favorites in there eventually, which was awesome because I don't know where I'd be if they were missing. But you know, it is sort of more of a case of like, I wasn't liking how it was looking at the start. They came out, played them, enjoyed them well enough, actually finished the Pokedex, which is something I never do in Pokemon games because I can never be bothered.
Too much work.
Oh,
Too much work for you, mate.
Too much fluffing around and. You know,
Bryce doesn't like fluffing
I
around.
don't like fluffing.
He's either getting in there or he's getting out. No fluffing about.
Fluffing about. And you know, with what they wanted to do, you know, sort of going forward and putting in DLC, fantastic idea, and it should be the model from Pokemon from now on. As cool as the third versions are, and with them sort of introducing aspects and stuff like that. Unless you're going to do like a full-blown sequel like Black 2, White 2, in my opinion, you don't need it.
No.
And DLC is a much more valuable use of resources, time, and consumers' money to get new content added to the game and sort of actually do something that's more worth your time rather than going through the same thing with slight story quirks, which has been the like mainstay thing of Pokemon for such a long time at this point. But, you know, while the Isle of Armor was a little bit of weak, it still gave us something new to do. And it was right in our faces. Like, we didn't have to go all the way through the game to unlock it. You could play it at any time. And that was good. You had the new Mega Raids with the new Mega Evolutions and an ability to sort of, you know, make your Pokemon Gigantamaxable. Oh, I almost said VMAX. You're playing too many trading cards, man. And then the Tundra was much more of a fleshed out experience, and you've got all the legendary Pokemon there, and it adds possible infinite replayability. Well, not replayability, I suppose. I wouldn't ever replay it just the way I'm playing it.
Just playability.
Playability, yeah.
Lengthens the playability.
That's right.
Like it does to you. I don't know.
Like max raid battles and stuff like that. I hunt for shiny legendaries and I don't catch them otherwise because I know every single legendary Pokemon in the game except for the stupid Galarian birds can be shiny. So that's how I'll hunt. That's how I'll hunt them to elongate my time with the game until it's no longer needed. And if I don't achieve my goal by then, well, oh well. I can always go back and do max raid battles, and that's the one thing that's going to keep the game alive for me. And to be completely honest with you, like it's taken its time, and it was never perfect in the beginning, and it's I don't think it was ever destined to be perfect, being the first Switch game, but it's definitely improved along the way, and I think they've learnt a lot of lessons from this, and I think they can definitely learn a lot more if they do things correctly. They need to understand that, like, you know, as time has gone on, we were saying before how like Gen 5 was sort of aimed towards older fans. A lot of those fans back then that were young and still playing those games are also now getting older because that was, how long ago now?
It's coming up 10 years. I think Black and White was 2011.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So it's this year, 10 years ago. Yeah, like they have to realize that 10 years ago, those kids where you were like, oh, this game isn't aimed at you. They are now adults, and they will probably want something like that. You know, going forward, they want something more out of their Pokemon game.
Yeah, well, it's like Metadox, our friend in the Discord, he says that like his first games were Pokemon Black and White, and I don't know how old he was when we were having that conversation. He might have been 15 or something. Mm. So you can only imagine, like, you know, I think he turned 18 this year. So it's just like, you know, those fans are getting older to the point where they're, you know, getting their first job, they're spending money on the games, they're buying more shit, as you can see here.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Like, to do with Pokemon, and the cycle just keeps going. So, and there's a lot of competition in sort of video games too. Like, yeah, people falling off to go to Destiny or some other sort of grind fest video game.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So they need to try and just satisfy both audiences somehow. I understand that can be hard, but
especially now that they're putting a lot of focus on competitive Pokemon as well. But they've managed to strike a really good balance between having actual PvE and end-game content with max rated battles, and the Dynamax adventures. Don't ever get rid of them. Try and find a way to shoehorn them in because they're really good. Like,
yeah, it's fantastic.
for the rest of the series. Like, they're never going to get boring. Personally, like I always pick it up to play one every now and then.
Yeah, because introducing PvE is just what the Pokemon series needed.
Yeah,
because a lot of people are like, I don't want to complete my Pokedex and I can't be bothered battling or trading. So what do? Nothing. Okay.
but they also fixed up the PvP too, which was awesome, and they've done a really good job at implementing an actual ranking system and stuff like that. And that's where the Sword and Shield games really shine, is the moment to moment of like PvE and PvP gameplay, where they do actually sort of keep a log on like what is actually improving people's experience.
Yeah. And like the seasons are changing each time as well.
That's right.
Like
yeah.
at the current season, they're going to be introducing, allows you to have one legendary Pokemon on the team, and then it will change again, so you can't use them anymore. Or the next season might even just be only legendary Pokemon.
Yeah,
So
but
it just changes up the metagame all the time.
if you're going to focus on that, like aiming for people for kids that are 5 years old, they're not going to get that enjoyment out of it. So it is wasted resources.
Well, some do.
Not all of them, though.
No, definitely not all of them.
When you're talking about a demographic, like 90% of kids at the age of 5 probably wouldn't even think about it.
Yeah, I just loved watching it last year, the championship game here in Australia. It was in Melbourne, and one of the semi-finalists was like a little girl, and it was just phenomenal watching her go up and beat some. I can't remember how old they were. It might have been another kid even. I'm not sure, but just watching that type of strategy from someone so young, it's just awesome to see.
Yeah, yeah. Well, end of the end of the story on that one, I suppose, is that I'll be looking forward to Gen 5 remakes when they eventually get to them, if they ever get to them, because
They will.
I would love to see.
They will.
I would love to see that done all over again, because that story was targeted towards our age group, and I think that's awesome, and I'd love to see it again. But I know they're never going to do it again, so he's hoping.
Yeah. So a lot of nostalgia there for you. Hit a rough spot there for a few years.
Yeah.
But you're back on the train again.
Yeah, I've never stopped loving Pokemon, but unfortunately, there is always those little hitches in the road that have sort of really harmed my perspective and view on Pokemon, especially during X, Y, and Sun and Moon. It was not a great transition into 3D at all, and even today, like, I still think I'd be happy for them to go back to sprites and just build an incredible game.
Yeah. So obviously they've shown sort of that they're happy making different types of games at Game Freak, whether it's the Let's Go, like it's only one game, but that could potentially be a series. You've got the mainline Pokemon games that have been going since 1996. What about if they did they span off a third team at Game Freak and made like sprite-based Pokemon games that are a bit shorter or something and sold them? It could be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Just about, hey, this is a Pokemon Sprite. I don't know. Who knows?
This is Pokemon Sprite and Pokemon Coke.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, Bryce, enough of your Pokemon history. It's nice to hear about it, though.
Yes.
And
Glad I could talk.
let's talk about some news, Bryce. We're going to get through this nice and quickly. And while we're talking about this, let's try and think of something for Reggie's Rec Room. We've got to get there. We're sort of neglecting poor Reggie, so we've got to make sure we get there running.
Rocky's Rock Room.
Sure.
Is that all?
My font for my friends.
My body is still.
I have a tumor.
Okay.
I'm just tired, all right? I've had a long day at work.
That's a sad announcement. Okay.
Jesus.
So there's been a brand new Monster Hunter Rise limited edition Nintendo Switch that got announced by, at first, Nintendo Japan, but Nintendo Australia, Nintendo UK, Nintendo America, Nintendo Icelandic all came out and announced it, that it's coming locally here. So basically it comes with a nice sort of pattern on the back, kind of a decal, as you'll call it, with grey Joy-Cons also on the back. And it comes with a digital code for the game with the deluxe edition as well. And also alongside that, there is a Pro controller with a
very beautiful design.
very nice. So I saw on Twitter, Bryce, you said that if you're going to get a limited edition Switch, this would be the one. This would be the one you would pick up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is a very pretty Switch.
Yeah, it's nice.
And that Pro controller is also extremely pretty. And I can't say I'll shelve out for the whole Switch. And the only reason for that is because if there is a Pro coming, that's what I want. And if I could get this one and trade in my old Switch, I would. But I can't because I've just fixed it up and it's got a new backplate on it. So for me to trade it in, which would bring the cost down, I think it was to $299, something like that, I would get it. But unfortunately, I've now fixed my Switch. So
You fixed it.
internal screaming ensues. But that's fine. I'll give it a miss. But I'm very sad that I have to because it is a very, very pretty Switch.
It is. Yeah.
I think it's definitely one of the best they've ever done. The controller though, the Pro controller, I think I'll at least try and pick up one of them. That is an absolutely beautiful Pro controller. I love it, and I don't have a limited edition Pro controller yet, and that is the one I want.
Yep, I'm on the same boat as they say. I've been wanting to get sort of like a limited edition Pro controller for a while, just so I've got two of them, so I can actually play like Smash Bros and whatever when people come over.
Yeah.
And while I really do like, say, the Mario limited edition Switch and this one as well, just like none of them are like super amazing. Like, I think the only company that have really nailed limited edition consoles, well, actually, Nintendo's nailed them with the handhelds, with the 2DS and that. They did some phenomenal Pokemon and Zelda ones. But really, it's been the Xboxes that have done really nice looking consoles.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like, even way back in the day when the Xbox 360, even with the original Xbox, but the one that stands out is the Star Wars Xbox 360, the R2-D2 one, which is all gold, and that just looks stunning. But even Sony on the PS4, it's been like a lot of just like stickers slapped on them and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same with the Switch. Like, there's no color differences. There's no different. It's like you could get those stickers and chuck them on if you had the right sizes and everything. That's the only disappointment I've got. But definitely, if you're a Monster Hunter fan and you don't have a Switch, or you're looking to upgrade your battery or whatever the circumstance is, this looks really nice.
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah. Yeah. That is a damn beautiful console, and I wish I had the money to just go boop.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
Ship it to me, boys.
But yeah, to buy it, the RRP I think was like $550 or something like that, because it comes with the game. And to drag that down to $299 from EB Games, I think is a pretty generous little offer.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, yeah.
I'm just going to look up the retail price on EB Games just while we're here, just so we make sure we get the right one.
Pretty sure it's $549. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's something along the lines of that, because it includes the game, so it would have to be about that.
Where is Switch? It's up the very top.
Yeah, it's up the top. It has been for a long time, man.
Where it should be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, $570. So $569.
Oh, shit, even worse. Yeah.
So it's a fair bit more. Yeah.
$100 more.
Yeah, because it's interesting because the Mario Limited Edition Switch, it comes with a case. It doesn't come with a game, but it does come with something extra than a normal Switch, but it still retails at $469, so it's still the same retail price.
Yeah, but that comes with the game.
Yeah,
which is a big difference.
Like the digital edition. Oh, so the deluxe edition as well. So
yes, yeah, which is why it's that much.
And
that's unfortunate, really. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
I want it though. I want it. It's such a nice console.
Yeah. Just a bit of an update for Animal Crossing New Horizons. It's been updated to version 1.70. And it brings... What does it bring, Bryce? I haven't played Animal Crossing a little bit, so
I have no idea.
I'm way out of touch with a lot of this stuff. But it
brings things.
It adds more seasonal events. So Festival, Pave the Dancer arrives. Try collecting different coloured feathers and give them to Pav to enjoy a passionate dance as a passionate dance as a reward. Hell yeah! I'm going to collect all those. The patch notes aren't selling me, Nintendo, to make me come back. I don't want a passionate dance by a bird for collecting your feathers. Ooh, I like that sound. That sounded pretty bird-like. Do it again. So you can't do it. You can't do a bird sound. Well, that's good. Adds various carnival-themed items available for purchase at Nook's Cranny from February 1st. Adds various items related to Set Sabin, So in brackets, a bean tossing kit. Fucking, you're not selling me. I'm not coming back for a bean tossing kit.
What is a bean tossing kit?
Don't know. This hardcore Animal Crossing fans like, dude, you got to get back for the fucking bean tossing kit.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Got to toss those beans in Animal Crossing. Holy shit. Adds various items related to several holidays, including Lunar New Year. Adds Maracas item available as a bonus for updating to version 0.70. Wow. So you get Maracas, Bryce. So that's pretty cool.
Won't stop me spamming my Ocarina, but thanks.
Yeah, so if you get maracas and you can play them online, you can just like shake them all the time. Now that's a reason to get back. All you have to do is update as well. So
I just follow people around and toot my Ocarina. That's all I give a shit about.
that's all you give a shit about.
That's all I give a shit about.
Just in general.
Yes.
Fair enough, man. That's fair enough. You're like, I am the hero of time.
That's right.
All right, so bro, so moving on. This is just a quick one for some elite Pokemon 25th anniversary Happy Meals. I know that's really exciting stuff.
Oh.
We are literally scraping the bottom of the barrel this week, ladies and gentlemen. But so if you go to McDonald's and you get a Happy Meal during February, you might get some of the following things. So you might get a Pokemon trading card game case, which is just basically you can put your cards in there. You can get some sticker sets, which include a lot of the starter Pokemon throughout the generations. You could get a frame. It just says here, frame your favorite. So I don't know if that's a frame for a card or you literally just get a frame with your favorite Pokemon in it, which is Pikachu by the look of this.
Why don't we get any of the cool promo stuff, like the promo Pikachus and all that shit?
So I'm not sure if you can actually get cards from here either. And you can get more stickers. So very, very cool stuff. If you go to McDonald's, you're like, tell you what, I'm going to buy a cheeky little Happy Meal. Not for my kid, not for my little friend here, but for myself.
For me.
So I can get these goddamn Pokemon card holders. So, just wonderful stuff. Just wonderful stuff. Here at the House of Mario, we bring you the hard-hitting news. We really do.
We do.
And this is, I guess, a bit more of a, well, not really more of a serious one, but a bit more of a dry one. It just goes over the sort of Australian developer revenue raise in 2020. So this is an article from gamesindustry.biz, and the title is Australian developer revenue raises 29% to $140 million US. It's not Australian. So the article reads, Australian game studios generated 184.6 million Australian dollars in the past year. That's an increase of 29% compared to the previous year, with 87% of this revenue generated overseas. So goddamn Australians, buy some more video games, because that's only 13% made from us.
That's right.
God damn it.
That's right.
Bryce, buy some more video games, you tight ass.
What do I do? I guess I'll buy video games.
Go to EB Games and buy the Monster Hunter. That's supporting Australian devs. Buy a Nintendo Switch. Made in Taiwan. And so continuing on, the figures come from the new industry survey by a local trade body of Interactive Games and Entertainment Association, which questions staff at 97 studios and encompasses financial year data from July 1st, 2019 to June 30th, 2020. The survey found that there were more than 1,245 time development staff in Australia, 70% of which are female, 17 identified as female, while 3% were trans, non-binary, or gender diverse. Many of the nation's developer studios are relatively young, with 51% only founded in the last 5 years. 29% were between 6 and 10 years old. What? With only 1 in 5 operating for more than a decade. Sorry, what? This so young. These studios develop for a range of platforms, with 48 reporting that they work on titles for PC, Mac, 44% on mobile games, and 33% on console titles.
78% of developers own original IP. The survey also covered concerns around the coronavirus pandemic, with most studios displaying an optimistic attitude towards the future. 76 expect their revenue to remain stable or increase despite the impact of COVID-19. And the same amount say that they have not had to make redundancies. 61% are confident their business will not shut down in the near future. However, 18% have serious concerns about the year ahead, while 14% reported reduced access to finance. While last year, an IGEA report revealed the Australian games industry overall brought in $3 billion in 2019. So,
A lot of dollars.
So, relatively good news for the Australian games industry.
Yes, it is.
It would just be interesting to bring up because it is our own backyard. It's good to know that everyone's going well.
Indeed.
So, yeah. Bryce, are you ready for some Red Coin recommendations?
Sure.
Sure.
You do that.
What button was it? I think it was this one. Oh, excellent. All right, Pro Bryce, we've got 3 recommendations of this week. Let me find them. Let me find them on my iPad. God, they could be anywhere.
No, they could be.
It's only such a thin thing, but no, I found them, everyone. So the first one is Cyber Shadow. And Cyber Shadow is $30 on the eShop, and it's published by Yacht Games.
Yacht.
What?
Yacht.
So the little blurb reads, the world has been taken over by the evil Dr. Projan and his merciless synthetic army. A desperate plea for help sets Shadow, the sole survivor of his clan, on one of the last mission to uncover what started the path to ruin. Your robotic companion El Gion is your only guide throughout the ruins of Macass City. How far can you unlock these secrets to your clan's ancient powers? Hurry before you run out of time. The road to redemption awaits in Cyber Shadow, this quintessential ninja action game. So, I've been playing this. It's actually available on Xbox Game Pass. So, I was actually pretty keen to pick this up anyway. But when I saw it was on Game Pass, I'm like, fantastic, downloaded it. Played it for a couple of hours, and it's just really good. It's absolutely excellent. It's just a really cool throwback to, obviously, older games like Ninja Gaiden and that. Pretty difficult, but I got to like the second sort of area and find myself struggling a little bit just with getting through, but it just lightning quick, respawns you. The checkpoints are relatively generous with how you get through it, so really enjoying it. I'm probably going to see it through to its end on Xbox. Really great.
That's good.
Definitely recommend picking it up, but obviously, if you have Game Pass on your PC or Xbox,
It's available
free.
there.
Yeah. But if you want to play it on handheld mode, definitely worth the $30.
Yeah.
Definitely worth the $30.
Wicked.
All right, so what I'm going to do, Bryce, I'm going to have a bit of a sip of my drink, stop talking for a little bit, and I'm going to get you to pick out a game. So we're actually using Vooks.net. They've done an absolutely fantastic job of compiling all of the games that have come out over the last week. So, Bryce, you're going to pick a random one. You can pick something that interests you. You can pick something that just sounds funny. It doesn't really matter. Just pick something.
Actually, didn't take me far, but I want to talk briefly about Atelier Reza too.
Oh, yeah. So...
there you go. Look at that. Okay, so, I will read some stuff here.
I will read it.
So, they've like structured this like they're really trying to sell it to you, but even if my strength is lost, I'll always be by your side. The story takes place 3 years after the events of the previous game, Atelier Reza, Ever Darkness, and the Secret Hideout, and depicts the reunion of Reza and her friends who go through new encounters and goodbyes to discover a true priceless treasure. 3 years have passed since Reza's secret grand adventure on Kirkin Island. Reza, the only member of her group to remain on the island, receives a letter from her friend telling her about ruins that may be related to alchemy, along with a mysterious request involving a glowing stone. This inspires her to leave the island and venture out to the royal capital, Ashra Baird. However, Reza is unaware that this will lead to the beginning of an imaginative new adventure involving a pursuit of the mysteries of the ruins surrounding the royal capital and meeting with a strange creature that will change her life. There's
Don't read it all. There's a
No.
lot there.
exploring with new field actions, more action-filled real-time battles, and straightforward and easy-to-use synthesis.
Yeah. So, like, going through the eShop, this game really stood out to me. I didn't play the first game, but I went back and added the first game to my wish list when I was looking at this. And basically, it's an RPG, a JRPG, sort of as you would expect, with anime-looking aesthetic and all that. But what sort of really grabbed me, and especially when I went and had a look at reviews for the game, is this game is basically, it's a JRPG story, but it's not like a end-of-the-world type of thing. It's very much like a small group of people, and they're going through their own trials and tribulations type of thing, but it's not like we've got to go and get the Chaos Emeralds to stop Dr. Robotnik from taking over the world.
Chaos Emeralds.
Oh God, no, Sonic. What's Sonic saying his own name? But it just seems like a really sort of nice, laid back type of JRPG. I know, like, it's probably not like that throughout the whole thing, but I'm keen to get this when it's on sale.
So the reason I wanted to talk about this,
Yeah.
is because before we were doing this podcast, and we were sort of only really dipping our hands and toes into content creation, I was given a code for Atelier Sophie
You were.
back when we were doing write-ups for
Oh, I remember
Another
now.
Castle.
Ah, yes, I remember what you said about it too.
And it was horrid. I didn't enjoy it. But that being said, I was a very different person back then when it come to video games. I felt personally like it wasn't a very strong JRPG, and I've never heard much about Atelier Sophie since.
Yeah, it seems like these
I always hear about Reza or there's a few other, the names escape my mind at the moment, but I always hear about those ones, never hear about Sophie. So I have a feeling maybe I just played one that was beh.
It sounded like they were pretty mediocre, but it seems like, at least with the Reza games, like it's taken like a pretty great turn.
Yeah.
Like
Apparently this is good.
Yeah, like the first game in the Reza series had great reviews, and this one seems to have really great reviews as well. I don't want to necessarily say this is exactly what he gave it, but I believe Dash reviewed the game and gave it a 9 out of 10. So, he plays a lot of JRPGs and that, so that's sort of great praise from him as well. So, no, I'm looking forward to getting it. It's both of the games are currently $90 on the eShop, so it's too much for me to be like, oh yeah, I'll give this a go type of thing.
Yeah.
But it's definitely on my wish. They're both on my wish list, waiting for a sale to jump into.
Yeah. I'd be happy to give it a go again because I'm a JRPG guy. I enjoy my JRPGs.
Yeah.
I just remember my experience with Sophie was so incredibly boring, and I just did not enjoy it at all.
Were they sort of more focused on, like, boobies and stuff? That wasn't them.
No. They were boring because the combat system was extremely simple and mediocre, and the collection aspect and the alchemy aspect was just all over the place and didn't really explain itself very well, at least in Sophie, like at all. And it just led me to get to the point where I'm just like, what am I doing? I'm just like literally going out, grinding and farming a few areas for materials, coming back, crafting things, and then I'm doing the same thing again. It was a constant meh. Like, I didn't really care. And the story was not dragging me. And it's like, oh, what's this? Oh, it's a talking grimoire. Cool, I guess. And it did not go far. It did not go far at all. I played it for like 6 hours before I was just like, I'm not sure I could play this. Honestly, I am that bored and I want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And yeah, but like I said, it's interesting to me because I have not heard anything about it, but praise. But when I look at Atelier games, I never hear about Sophie, so I have a feeling I just played a dud. So I would like to give it a go.
Yeah, I would too. Definitely, it's definitely on the wish list, the very long wish list. So I clicked on a random game to make up the third game. So I've clicked on randomly Royal Tower Defense.
Right.
And that sounds like a banger. So they say lands of orcs have expanded in the last few decades and defined new borders. New borders which are dangerously close to us. Who are us? I don't know. And it goes on to say, orcs depleted resources on their lands, and it's only a matter of time before they try to put their hands on our kingdom. Diplomats were already sent to peacefully ask orcs to back off, but they never returned. The sign was clear. There was no place for negotiations. So, these are the dot points, Bryce. I'm going to ask you at the end, are you sold on this game? Are you going to pick it up for $8.99?
I'm not sold on any tower defense game, really.
Ooh,
Sorry, it's not my genre.
I reckon this might sell you on this, Bryce. I reckon it might sell the audience on it too.
It's not my genre.
I reckon I might sell this game to everyone. So here we go. So 8 specialized tower upgrades with unique abilities. 20 challenging levels requiring different strategies. Long battles which hook you for hours. Not for hours, mate. I've got limited time.
It's tower defense.
Hook you for hours.
How's it going to hook you for hours? It's tower defense. You put down towers and they do the work for you.
For hours. They do it for hours, though. Enemies evolving with the game progress. Well, there you go. That's good game design. See? Beautiful
Really
fantasy
trying to sell
world
this.
with relaxing music. I love that. I love that dot point, actually. Enemies evolving with the game progress. That is a video game. if the enemies...
That is a video.
The enemies didn't evolve with the progress the player is making.
Then what would I do?
You're just like... Imagine like you're playing World of Warcraft or something, just like still killing pigs, like level 120.
They did that on South Park.
They did. They had to grind it because they had to kill the
Big dude.
the big man, the sweaty man. They had to kill the sweaty man, and he was a powerful man.
The sweaty man.
He was a sweaty man. All he did was sweat and sit and play the game.
Oh, yeah, I know.
So yeah, see that's the thing. I just love clicking on random games and seeing what it's all about. And what are the screenshots here? Oh, that's a nice flash-looking game. Yeah. So yeah, go and pick them out. If I've got to really recommend one, I've only played one, so it's going to be Cyber Shadow. Absolutely fantastic game. Definitely go and pick it up. Published by Yacht Club Games.
Yacht Club.
I'm just staring at you in the eyes, Bryce.
Yacht Club, they make some good games.
They do. They did make some good games.
That's right, they did.
Are they going to make another one though? Or they're just
probably.
or they're just going to sit on Shovel Knight and
Maybe the yacht club's full because of coronavirus, so it's possible, maybe not. Social distancing.
Hi, Nintendo fans. Reggie here.
So we're at Reggie's Rec Room, Bryce.
Thank you for your never-ending
Better
support.
let Reggie talk, actually.
For giving me a mushroom kingdom full of incredible memories that I will never forget.
Hello, Rocky.
Ever.
Okay, so why are you calling Reggie Rocky?
Roggy.
Roggy, why Roggy?
Roggy Fowls.
How much of that can have you drunk?
Roggy Fowlsy, there you go. I'm saying his name right. Shut up. I've drunk nearly all of it, but I'm right. I just think it's funny to call him Roggy, alright?
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
King of comedy. Alright, anyway.
Alright.
Get back to your point.
I didn't have a point.
We're just here.
We're just here. We're just in Reggie's Rec Room. I feel bad for not coming here.
I mean, I guess so.
You don't really care. You don't care about Roggy, do you?
I do care about Roggy. But I'll tell you what. Let's say we give ourselves 5 minutes from now. She sits at home feeding the baby. She's all alone. And just... I want to talk about the stuff that's been coming out for Pokemon Snap real quick.
Okay.
Have you been paying much attention?
Yeah, enough attention.
Like, I think, they talked about the fluff fruit or whatever today. I noticed as I pulled out of work, I was checking my Twitter before I drove off. I'm like, oh, yes, they're talking about, the fruit that you throw at the Pokemon and stuff like that. And I was just thinking about, past experiences with the old Pokemon Snap and stuff like that. And I think that's the thing I'm most excited about. Is throwing fruit or whatever at Pokemon and then seeing what happens as a result. Like, you used to be able to throw an apple at a Charmander's head and he'd turn into a Charizard. And that was exciting.
Ooh.
You know, that
Yeah.
was cool.
Yeah, it's cool just interacting with the world and see what it does. Yeah.
Which I think is what is sort of interesting about Pokemon Snap. Like, you don't think it would actually, like, persist as an idea in, like, the modern era where games are, like, a lot more flashy and a lot more exciting. But, to be honest, Snap is such a chill experience. And I like that they're dulling out little bits of information, but I can also relate back to it. It doesn't seem like they're changing a hell of a lot, which is good, because I think most people were looking for that core Snap experience.
Yeah, like it's a pretty simple type of game. Like
Yeah, it's not hard.
we
to
want like, you know,
understand.
the sort of the loop of going around trying to get everything and all that.
Who will the mythical Pokemon be this time at the end of it, do you reckon? We had Mew in the first one.
Yeah,
Mew was the mythical Pokemon.
that was the choice, the only choice. Don't know, all of them.
If you had to pick one, what would it be?
I would pick Mew again because it was the most popular.
I would think it'd probably be Jirachi.
Jirachi. I was thinking Jirachi, but I don't think Jirachi has. It's probably like one of my favorite, but it doesn't have the popularity like a Mew, Celebi.
I don't. Yeah, but I think it thematically, it's kind of sort of up there. I think that it'll feature like heaps of them, but like, you know, you get to the end and at least in the first one, it was like a big Pokemon that was a big deal. What's the matter, mate?
Oh, sorry. I'm just gonna pick up my piece of paper. You talk. I just don't want it to look like I'm just like bending down into your crotch.
I think there'll be plenty of like, you know.
It's like just random.
Oh my god! Stop talking about crotches.
I can't help it.
You know, I think there'll be plenty of, and even like, you know, legendary Pokemon. I think they'll be there. You know, I think they're kind of important to the Pokeverse at this point. It's sort of a big deal. But there always has to be, at least from most people's experiences, there has to be one on top, or at least a couple of them on top, where you've got to go through something and they're just hiding. But just imagine like that they were more akin to the series where they're stupid elusive in like a forest or something like that. Like how good would it be if they sort of captured that more of elusiveness in this one? Because Mew in space was just a bit out there in the first one. But I would love to like be really trying hard to maybe track down 3 mythical Pokemon in one run.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I'd love to see them introduce shiny Pokemon in there too,
That
so
too.
you can like try and find them on your sort of route and stuff. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and you get extra points for taking pictures of shiny ones. And just don't make them the same chance, because that's really...
Yeah, you're like going through it like, oh,
1 in 8,000. I love it.
I love this.
Great game design.
Yeah, I love that. Just like we're just like, oh, let's go to Reggie's Rec Room. Drew, I really want to talk to you about my excitement for throwing apples in the new Pokemon game.
I guess we just haven't talked about Snap much since they started talking more about it. So I guess, you know, just thinking back on the original Snap and how cool that game was as a kid, like I'd love to play that again.
Yeah.
And you know, I think it's definitely coming to a head now where it's like we're getting more information about it as it's trickling through. That being said, though, something we can quickly talk about is: are you enjoying this trickle of information?
Not so much because I'm not like paying like a super high amount of attention to it. It's
You would have paid more attention to it if it were in a direct.
Yeah, I would have.
Exactly.
Back to that again.
Well, yeah, you know, I don't want to talk about it 2 weeks in a row, but I am sort of just thinking about it as well. And while I'm not, you know, not enjoying the trickle of information, it's definitely better for me getting that information and knowing when I need to tune in to get it, which is, you know, in my busy lifestyle, and that's definitely the way to be, I feel.
Like, to be honest, it's just the type of game it is too. Like Pokemon Snap, I don't need to get information trickled to me. I'm just sort of going to be like the 2 weeks leading up to it. We're like, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like some information, I'll like look up stuff on the game and watch trailers, but I don't need to be like getting information trickled to me like 3 months before the actual game's coming out. There's still a long time.
No, I agree.
April.
But I like to hear about stuff that they're changing as well, and like stuff they're introducing to sort of keep the concept fresh.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Maybe some gameplay. rather than just, I guess, screenshots, which is what the entire game is about.
Yeah,
doing.
more gameplay would be great to see.
Mm.
Yeah, personally, that's what would get me excited. Like here's a level or something like that. I guess you don't want it spoiled
Not the
necessarily
whole
for you
thing.
either. But yeah,
But just like some more animations and stuff like that, and catching Pokemon in their actual environment. But they're not going to do that, and they haven't really done that for a long time. Is display that, unless it's been a trailer, and that it's not the same. I kind of like the whole. Hello, I'm Michael McFan from
Michael McFan.
Michael McFan from Sora Limited.
Michael McFan, if you are listening, you are a wonderful man. That's why Bryce had you on the mind.
Look, yeah, just
Just bring up a fucking real person.
Well, I'd bring up a real person, yeah. But my point is,
He has a
like,
YouTube channel. Go and subscribe to it if you
Does he?
want random content. Oh, he's just I went down a rabbit hole on Michael's YouTube channel. He posted it because I used to play drums with him at school.
Yeah.
And he posted him doing a drum cover. I'm like, okay. So we went and had a look at it, and he did his drum cover. I'm like, that's pretty cool. I enjoyed that. But he's just got some other random videos where it's just like, he's got like a series of videos like, shit I hate.
All right.
No, but it's funny though. He's just like, yeah, I hate, putting on pants and they're creased or some shit. It's just like really dumb stuff like that. Yeah, that's a completely random tangent, but
Good on you, Michael.
good on you, Michael.
But yeah. No. My point is I kind of miss those little social cues and that element of. I don't want to call it hand holding because it sounds. But
Can't hold my hand.
they
in Pokemon
actually
Snap.
feel like they want to sell you on the product instead of just dumping it in your face and being like, "This is the product. Buy it or get lost." That's what it feels like to me now. It's a little meh.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I agree on that stuff. But
And I think with Pokemon Snap, it's really starting to sort of show its brows. That's always, I guess that's why it's the first thing that come to mind, is because as much as the trickle of information is good, but
yeah, so Pokemon Snap's coming out in end of April. We've got a while yet to talk about different apple throwing mechanics and all that stuff coming in. But towards the end of this month for Pokemon Day, we are going to be getting probably new announcements for mainline games. Pokemon Unite release date probably going to be at the end of this month on the same day, as sort of leaks and that have shown. But do you have any sort of hopes for Pokemon Day coming at the end?
nah.
You're just happy with a mainline game and some little nifty stuff?
Some improvements to the mainline game is the main concern that I have. And that's not saying that Sword and Shield are bad, because they're definitely stepping in the right direction, but I do feel like there could be a lot more effort put in, and more resources and time and funding sort of put into a mainline Pokemon project to make it the game that people actually want and that is actually appealing to buy at first glance. Like, a lot of people are still holding their ground. They're like, I'm not supporting Sword and Shield because it has Ocarina of Time trees. And they stick by that. But unfortunately, by sticking by that, they're missing out on a pretty decent product by the time you pay for the full package. Like, better in some cases than most Pokemon games.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, which is sad. It definitely still has its problems. I'm not going to say it doesn't, because it does. It still has its problems, but it's not as half as bad as what Sun and Moon were, with all the hand holding and the little baby man here to take this. Do you know where a Pokemon Center is? And then sending you off.
You nailed
there.
it. Wow.
That's exactly what it's like. Yeah.
All right, Bryce. I think that brings us to the end of the House of Mario, episode 175.
I think it does. Yeah. Time for me to go to sleep.
Yeah. Everyone's probably like, yes, go to bed, old boy.
Do I go to the bed of Mario? Because that might be a bit weird.
Go to the bed of Drew. I won't be there, though. I'm just nice enough to offer my bed because I'm a good bud.
Oh,
I'm going to stay up late and watch scary movies, such as Saw 1.
Saw 2.
Or Saw
3.
Saw 4.
Saw 5.
Saw 6.
Saw 7.
Don't know how much they actually made.
I
Saw 8.
I actually think it is about 7 or 8 movies.
Oh, well, I'm
It's
sure
a lot of saws, man.
someone can let us know.
Okay.
Oh, Bryce, don't you dare prolong this.
No. You keep talking.
I'll keep talking. I'll wrap it up. All right, guys. Thank you very much for listening to the House of Mario episode 175. If you enjoyed the show, you can follow us on all your favorite podcast services. For example, Apple
9.
Music. 9 of them.
9.
Spotify. And you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. It really does help us find new audiences and bump up that algorithm. You got to bump up the algorithm every now and again.
Yeah, thanks, boys.
If you're interested in watching the show on YouTube in video form, you can find it on my YouTube channel at YouTube/iDrewby.
iDrewby/YouTube.
Yeah, I own
Very self-important now, aren't you?
I'm a big boy. I own Google, apparently. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow me at iDrewby. You can follow the show at The House of Mario. You can follow Bryce at IVRevan.
That's right.
Like I said at the start of the show, if you'd like to join our Discord community, there is an invite in the show notes. If you'd like to be on the podcast, talk about your Pokemon memories and that, you're more than welcome. The invite is out there. The doors are always open. That is our motto, and we stand by that, God damn it. Bryce, do you stand by that motto?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put it on a billboard and I just camped there for weeks. It was incredible. I had to move eventually because I was told it's illegal to camp in this area. But yeah, I'll try my best.
You try your best, and that's all I ask. That's all I ask. That's all I fucking ask, Bryce. And we want to thank our Patreon producers, DJ, Sam Hay, and a brand new one, Bryce, Alex Harding.
Oh,
Yeah, talking to him on Twitter, really nice guy, and he's going to be a guest on House of Mario Encore as well.
There
Talk
you
about
go.
all his Pokemon stuff, so look forward to that in the upcoming weeks.
There you go, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, man.
There you go, buddy. You got yourself more guests.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks for joining the crew.
Absolutely. So this week's Nintendo Jukebox, where we highlight artists throughout the Nintendo community, is an Eevee Cypher. And it's produced by Video Game Remixes and a whole bunch more guests sort of singing the sort of roles as the various Eevee evolutions. And it's really good. I absolutely love it. Bryce, I played it for you.
Yeah. Sounds dope.
Sounds dope.
Sounds
I
dope.
really like it.
Dope.
So guys, until next week, the doors to the House of Mario are closed. Catch you later.
Know me, still the same EV, the old 133, but I've been low-key, trying to level since I can't throw streets, so I'm really more than normal when I slam those beats. For generations, new evolutions brought revolutions, now introducing all the brothers that the others have been striving for, cause I'm saying that this ain't even my final form.
Heard he talking hot, I'm a wetty mug. Got so much drip, need a sippy cup. Pull up on these cats with the ice beam. Come around my way, baby, serve sub. Water splash on the bitch, Aquafina, my drip. Water gun, put the hydro pump to his mid. Hydraulics on the whip, I use pros for the rims. I'ma swerve on the hole, watch him drown when I spit.
Shocking to your ligaments, I've been cracking the voltage up. Currents causing dissonance, AC/DC, your thunderstruck. Loud, I know you're listening, bringing noise, how I interrupt. Gory, I know how I'm feeling like a god. Call me Sparky, I blur it like I'm a Nari. Static, shot no version of circles, you can't harm me. Conducted it like Hillary, you better bring an army. Defibrillator, I will end this in a heartbeat. Already came with a flame chamber. 3K degrees, I'm burning the state of nature. I blaze it like a volcano when I turn green leaves fire red. Now that's a game changer. Heat waves coming and I'll spare no survivors. Each day sunny when I flare like a lighter. Ain't no mountain higher than the kind where I'll be piling up your graves like I'm on fire.
They're picking me over the recipe. I'm a gem, every gen, like I'm on the SP. I can use some friendship. You don't wanna test me, never need a sunshot unless I'm an XD. Next me, nah, see the future, it's gonna be gone fast. When I'm psyched up and deliver a strong blast. You're a copy and now you mess with the wrong cat. So I'm switching out when I hit him with baton pass.
Black out on the track cause I'm a dark type. Back in with your girl, she told me that she in the dark types. Yeah, move smooth through a dark night. I'm synergized when I'm synchronized with the moonlight. Yeah, I got venom in my veins. Give me hot like the sun, then I might just let it spray. I ain't come to play in the shadow where I lay. Or you thought that you were saved, but really you was prey.
It don't need to be art for you to fall. No jack, but you know that I'll be popping off. Yeah, I got the brain stepping on the scene, and I keep on winning. Call me Charlie Sheen. Grass tight, but you know that I will take you to the ground. You a coconut the way that I just put you in the mound. Oh wow, now you're out here deceased. This ain't Naruto, but don't mess with the leaf.
Ice trip on me, there's a ball drink. Fussy on the box, getting caked at the icing. Jumping through the polar opposite. Try and copy what we got, cause a blizzard and it's just straight overwatch. Although own the watch, but another wrist still cold. All over the shop like a drifting snow. Don't wait for thin, I'm gonna chip this cold. phone. I seal the deal, but you'll still be froze.
Yeah, Sylvia, bitch. Wanna start shit, better calm your tits. I disarm your click when my aura emits. And your trainer giving draining kiss on my tip. Moon blast on the back, then I have to dip. Ghost ride the tail whip, my ribbons are lit. Yeah, I got so many bows, I'm lavish and thick. Baby doll eyes, make a dragon hate it and quit.
Y'all did not anticipate me to run it back this way. But I cannot run away. I adapt to change. I'm in all the games. When in battle may come and cracking eggs. And I'm tackling. I'm that fox. I'm the baddest face. Check that box. Cause Evie Squad does not take no loss.
Bye bye now. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Why are you still here?